get started, remember your needle has to be in a J form facing you when you get started. First is you have to create the knot at the beginning of the suture. So creating the knot, it will be exactly like we did the simple interrupted stitch, but in the unlike the simple interrupted stitch, we don't have to interrupt, meaning we don't have to cut the suture. So we won't be cutting it. Instead, we will continue with the stitch or the suture, and we won't interrupt it. So remember to hold your hemostat exactly over your wound. What you'll do is take one hand and make sure you wrap it
Here
around
I meant to say hemostat.
Suture, twice. So it will look like this. Remember then you have to turn your hand 90 degrees towards your tail and clasp the top of the tail. So when you do this, you will end up with this. So remember to do the 2-1-1 motion. You turn it 90 degrees, you clasp it, you pull it through. I didn't cut the long end with the needle, so I still have it. And what you're gonna do after is from where you inserted your needle first, so which is right here, you're gonna reinsert it, but this time you're gonna diagonally insert the needle. So inserting diagonally the needle allows you to create a Z under your flesh pad, but allows you to create a straight line on top. So here I am inserting it to the other hole. I'm pulling it. Remember to be careful. You don't want to rip your skin. So you see how it's entering it diagonally here. You'll see it'll disappear because now it's under my skin. Make sure you diagonally enter again. So it'll come out like this. Make sure you find your other hole. You pull it through, and you see I am creating the Z version under the flesh pad, and what you will be left with is a straight line on top. So this is called the simple running, because the suture just continues. Here I'm gonna show you guys how to close your wound. So when you're closing your wounds, you're gonna end up with a knot exactly like this, except you'll have this circle, this loop that you'll have to leave. This loop serves as your tail. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna make a small loop. You have to do the 2-1-1. Make sure you go 90 degrees, just like you did with the tail. But now what you have to do is you won't have just a tail. Now you have this loop. You have to clasp both ends of your loop. So now I have this loop come together. And what you're gonna do is you're tying your shoe tying analogy. The hand with the needle has to go forward. The hand with the hemostat has to go backwards. So here, this is what's happening. So I pull it, and you see this. So now I'm left with this loop and this side with my needle. What you're gonna do is do the tie it around again, clasp your circle or your loop, and then pull it together. you're gonna be left with 3 tails. Make sure you cut it. Don't cut it so short that you make sure the knot comes undone, but not so long because you don't want that little pointy tail to be hurting you. And then you're supposed to cut this loop. Left with the 3 tails. This is how you do the simple running